Mr. Ranjha is back. Today we have Mike from the Falsely Accused Network. Mike, thank you so much for coming down today.
Oh, thank you, Ranjha. Thank you for inviting me.
Right, Mike, I've made some content about false or fake domestic violence claims or allegations just to get indefinite leave to remain. I've been inundated with messages from people who have become victims of this. This is something you specialise in, isn't it?
Yes. We have noticed, well, very much since we started the Falsely Accused Network, that there's a huge number of men who have fallen victim to what we call the spousal visa scam. The lawyers call it immigration fraud, where a woman will marry a man of, in the cases we deal with anyway, British men of Asian heritage. Once she gets into Britain, she will make a false domestic abuse claim so she can get indefinite leave to remain. It's very real and it happens a lot.
Right. And what percentage of the people, I mean, the majority of the people who got in touch with me were of Pakistani descent. Most of my followers were of Pakistani descent. Okay. And a lot of Indians as well.
Yes.
And I also had some people from Bangladesh. But the overwhelming majority were Pakistanis. Yes. I also had people from North Africa as well.
Yes.
So how does that tally with you?
I'd say that's very accurate to what we're getting. I'd say that the vast majority would be men of Pakistani heritage that are going through this. With then Bangladesh, India, Morocco is another hotbed. Where the woman's from Morocco,
yeah,
it's another hotbed as well. But that's I agree with you. That's the sort of thing we're seeing.
Okay, so one thing we've seen before is when I made content about this, I got a lot of views, and people were giving me links to Facebook courses where the women in Pakistan, or some of the men as well, before they get over here, they do courses on this and they pay for them, and it's about how to rope in someone to marry from the West and then how to claim indefinite leave to remain. And a lot of times they've already got boyfriends or husbands over there.
That's right.
And then they get brought over after a while. How many times have you seen this yourself?
I've lost count.
Right, many.
I've lost count of the amount of times that a man has told me, married somebody from abroad, come to Britain, claimed it's usually one of two ways. It's either done very, very quickly, i.e. she's been here a few weeks, few months, and then out the blue there's a claim gone in, or she waits until they've had a child together, so
right.
It could be about a year, and a common thing with those cases is I'll always ask the question, did she pressure you into getting her pregnant quickly? Oh, actually, yes, she did. She was really keen to have a child very, very quickly with me. So yes, we are seeing this on a huge scale, and it's something that I'm deeply concerned, Ranjha, and I'll be really frank with you, and I say this to all the people that we work with at the Falsely Accused Network. It really angers me because of the fraud element with it.
Absolutely, same.
What
yeah.
she's doing. She knows what she's doing. It's all a con from the beginning.
Yeah.
And I can't. And I'll be best as I can to keep my cool, but it really angers me.
Well, absolutely right, Mike. I can't tell you how much it makes my blood boil that my own people, right, are doing this. Well, they're not our own people. This is when it hits home, really, where they go over there to Pakistan because they think, I don't know what they're thinking. Sometimes they've had a look over here. They're struggling to find the right wife. Then going over there to Pakistan because they've heard people about doing it. They found someone who they think is amazing, and it turns into the worst possible life-ruining nightmare for people. And it infuriates. I think with myself and many of my followers and many of the people who've experienced this, it's infuriated them to such a point where if the Labour Party turns around, we despise Labour, many of us, they turn around and say, if they turn around and say, we will forcibly remove people. All you got to do, if you're the person who suffered from this, is if we find out it was fraudulent, we'll forcibly remove them going back 20 years. If Labour says that or Reform says that, we'll vote for them. We'll vote for them. We don't care about anything else, but these people, we need to go back 20 years in history. There's been hundreds of cases, thousands, tens of thousands of cases of this kind of fraud. Lives have been destroyed.
Yeah. Something I want you and the rest of the viewers and listeners to really think about is this, right? And I want us to put ourselves in this situation. Imagine if we moved abroad and married someone and we were getting abused. Why would you want to stay
exactly
in that country? You would surely if you are genuinely being abused, the first thing you want to do is to go back to your friends and family in safety.
Yeah.
Now, to me, that's common sense. To me, that would make sense. That would hold weight with me. I think actually that would make maybe there is, but this is not what's happening. What they're doing is a very clear pattern of, like you said, the courses. They know what to say to the British authorities when they get here. Always been controlling me, won't let me spend this, he wouldn't let me wear this, so that's coercive control.
That's exactly what they're saying.
If it was true, then they get put into a refuge and they get a free flat. And then, like you said, many of these cases, they've had a boyfriend in the background or a relative that maybe living in a different city from where they've gone to, indefinite leave to remain, and boom, British passport. And
Yeah.
it's so wrong. And in the middle of this is an innocent man who may be on police bail for a long time.
Exactly.
Quick, the police, they're inundated with these false allegations. They've got to investigate them. So their life's put on hold. Then they've got to start looking at divorces, and that's expensive. And it was all a fraud. And that is, I cannot put into words how angry that makes me feel.
Absolutely. Now, a lot of times, what they'll do is the police will come around. As soon as the accusation's made,
Yep.
they'll simply bail you away from your home house, won't they?
Yep, that's right. So you're kicked out.
You're kicked out simply with the allegation.
Yep.
Even if there's zero proof,
right.
even if you've got evidence against it,
Yep.
it being false, they will kick you out. And so I've had followers telling me where they've married to someone, they've come over to the house, they've said he's forcing me to wear the hijab or the dupatta, and whatever it is. But that's what they do in that part of the world.
Mm-hmm.
They come over here, say, oh, he won't let me drink, he won't let me go out clubbing. But they've never done that in Pakistan.
No.
But they just know it's a way to get it. And I've had instances of people saying they've come along, they've claimed controlling or coercive or some sort of fake allegations of violence, and the whole family, including mum, dad, because they're living in their parents' house, they've all been forced away from the house.
Yeah.
How many instances of this have you seen?
Into the thousands.
Into thousands. Right? So it's all they have to do is just simply to make
the word. It's that's it, Ranjha. There's no actual collaborative evidence needed. It's just the word. She just says he's done this. He won't let me see my friends. He won't let me see my family. That one they said about the head.
Yeah.
Where won't let me do this. Won't let me do that. And if it was true, would be a crime. But in a lot of these cases, they're not true. She's just saying it. He's bailed out the home, and then she gets indefinite leave to remain.
Right. So are there government guidelines that say, simple as soon as the accusation is made, you've got to bail them away from the house?
I'm not 100% on that.
Right.
Whether there is government guidelines on it, but what you did correctly say was, almost always the man put on bail and he's not allowed to return to the home, not allowed to speak to her, not allowed to contact her, and that's it. He's erased. He's gone.
Right.
He's gone, and that can be. I think the bail can run up for a year, and then after a year, if there's been no charge made, but they've still not made a charging decision, it goes to release under investigation. And I've known men on that for years.
Right.
And it's frightening. And all it takes is one word.
And this is a ridiculous situation, isn't it?
One word.
It's absolutely ridiculous situation, and a lot of people are not aware that if you get married to a woman from abroad, this is a stunt that many of them pull, right? Mike has witnessed thousands of this. Easy. I've had thousands of hundreds, really, probably in the thousands now, of comments and messages from people who have suffered as a result. I've seen people lose their careers, pharmacists. So as soon as they're even accused of this, that's it, done for.
Yep.
I was speaking with one gentleman. He had a pharmacy at home. They were working from home. As soon as they're bailed away from their own house, they can't access the documentation. They can't access anything. They're done for.
Yep.
And I think the moment you do this, do you get granted indefinite leave to remain straight away?
Just cut there a second.
Yeah.
I'm not sure on that.
Right. Okay.
I'm not quite 100% on that part.
No, I think they used to do that. As soon as the accusation's made, it would happen. But now they've changed the law. We're not sure if it's kicked in or come into effect just yet.
Yeah, we'd have to check with the lawyers.
Yeah, we'd have to check the lawyers on that one. But a lot of these people, what happens is they know, the women know if they claim this, straight away, they've got all kinds of support groups.
Oh, yeah.
They've got all kinds of, they're not paying a penny.
That's right.
They get free legal aid.
Yep.
You know, free legal aid, everything like that. And they will push this case. They know we need to string this case out for as long as possible. And we're seeing a lot of that. Tell us some of the stories you've heard or dealt with without giving out too many details.
All right, I'll keep it vague.
Yeah.
There was one, this one stands out for me. And as we get into this story, you'll understand why. He was an older gentleman who, I think he'd gone through a divorce, a British lady, and then decided to go down find a more traditional, what he perceived as a traditional lady. Did meet somebody, I think it was Morocco. She came to Britain, and then a few months later put a false grape case in. Removed from the house, put on bail, and what was remarkable about this story is that there was a medical condition that meant he couldn't have possibly done that.
Yes.
Now you think once that information was passed to the police, it'd be dealt with quickly, wouldn't you?
They don't care.
No, he was on bail for 9 months because the police are so swamped with these allegations. They can't. It's not a quick process at all. In the meantime, I think he was suspended. Once they did finally 9 months later get to review his evidence, obviously it was clear he couldn't have done what he'd done. He was no further actioned. He did go back to work, but it was 9 months off. She got indefinite leave to remain. He went through the worst possible time in that 9 months. I supported him on a one-to-one basis. And I'll never forget him. I'll never forget him. And he's just the tip of the iceberg, to be frank, Ranjha. It's happening all the time. I had a call recently where, again, it was I call it spousal visa scam case.
Yeah.
But she held off a little bit. It kicked in a couple of years later after children were born. Began abusing. She was then abusing her husband physically, mentally, threatening him with, "I'll go to the police and make allegations against you." Contacted me, and we've taken over and we're helping him as we speak.
I was speaking with someone similar in a similar situation where he'd recorded his wife saying this to him.
Mm-hmm.
"If you don't do this, I'm going to make these allegations to the police."
Yeah.
And he goes, "But none of it's true." He goes, "The police won't care." It's all there on tape.
Just, do you hear what you said there? I'll tell the police, and they just won't care if it's true or not. And I'm afraid to say that is true.
That is true. No.
They don't care.
No, the police then said it's controlling and coercive because you recorded her.
Yeah.
Everything is based against the man here.
Absolutely.
So he had evidence, but there's but you shouldn't have been recording her. It's absolutely, how are you meant to protect yourself? And it's a no-win situation for the man here, isn't it? Really. How often do we see it? Does it happen to women as well? Do you think often, or have you had many cases?
The spousal visa scam, it does happen to women. Yeah. I get 1% of calls in total that come to the false accused network from women. It does happen, but no, this is an issue that's affecting men. So I say this is a men's issue. Of course, it can happen to women, but it's not as much.
I think you're right. The overwhelming majority are men. I had one message from someone he was a doctor, mm-hmm. and he was saying, "Oh no, but it's okay because we get abused when we come over here." I go, "Hang on a second. Did you remove yourself? You could have gone back to Pakistan, couldn't you?" And he goes, "Why should I? Why should I? I've married her. I've got the British visa. I'm coming over here." And I said, "You're a doctor." He was a doctor. Mm-hmm. And I go, "Don't you understand? You could have gone back to Pakistan and worked there as a doctor." He goes, "They were making me work." He goes, "I came from a good family over there. I had servants over there. Now they're making me work." That's abuse. It was surreal, unbelievable. And he was trying to justify it. And this is what happens when many people from that part of the world will try to justify it, especially the ones who have pulled off some of these stunts over here.
Yeah.
And so what we're seeing is a number of cases where they claim these fake domestic violence claims or spousal visa fraud, as you said, probably better wording there. But what they would do is, some would do it straight, fairly quickly, as soon as they arrive over here. Other ones would wait for the child.
Yes.
There were other ones who had just realised, it's become quite common knowledge now that we're a soft touch in England.
Yes.
That's the thing.
Yes.
And it's become common knowledge in Pakistan. And their brothers have realised, hang on a second, if you divorce him over there, or the parents or the family in Pakistan realised, if you divorce him over there, you're going to get most of the properties. And in particular, these are wealthy men now.
Yeah.
And that means if you divorce him, we'll probably get a cut. So even after 10 years of marriage, 15 years of marriage, so there'll be an argument back home, a dispute typically over land, right? And because the families will all know each other, sometimes they're even related here, right? And there'll be an argument over that. And they'll say, right, as a form of revenge, you divorce him. I've had people reaching out to me for that. They've been married for a number of years. And there's one case in particular where it happened and the brothers pushed her to divorce her to look, no, this is now, and they issued an Islamic divorce over there in Pakistan. It's done now, you've got to leave him. Once they realised they weren't going to see any of the properties because everything was secured in trust fund. Yes.
Oh.
Then the brothers were like, no, still try to divorce them because they need a lot of money to challenge these trusts.
Yeah.
And they didn't have that kind of money.
Yeah.
Then they said, all right, okay, no problem, we'll go back again. And now the husband trying to get the wife to prosecute the family members. Because it's a crime in Pakistan even to say someone's divorced when they're not divorced.
Wow, I never knew that.
So it's simple, it's greed. What's your gut feeling over here from someone looking at the Asian community? Why are the Asian marriages falling apart at such an alarming rate? What's your view on this?
My view on this is, and this is speaking to many Asian men that I do speak to and friends with, is there's one word answer: feminism.
Feminism, right? Yeah.
Feminism's what's happening. Feminism is what's poisoning families and relationships. Feminism is what's keeping men and women apart. It's designed to keep us apart. They don't want us together anymore. And this is why it has shocked me that my conception of Islam is that it would be fairly guarded against feminism.
Yes.
In my mind, that's what misconception that I had. But certainly since I started the Falsley Accused Network, the amount of Asian men are saying to me, no, our community is on fire. And I'm seeing it in real time. It's very real.
Yeah, I'm seeing it in the messages as well, where it's in particular it's greed that kicks in. Feminism, greed. Oh, I can get a bit of this out of this. Yeah, damn the man. And it's all about me. And they always end up regretting it.
Oh yeah.
Always. Because it doesn't pan out the way they think it's going to pan out. I interviewed someone last week and he lost 8 properties as a result. Bailed away from his house. He was working as a pharmacist at his own home, and his business was dying, and somehow all the properties were sold way below market value. So the kids lost out.
Yeah, kids lose out on their inheritance.
Yeah.
This is another thing we don't think of. Another thing they don't think of when they do get legal aid and they have got property, that the legal aid will claw back a lot. They think it's. So many women think legal aid's totally free. It's not. If they can get money from that, they will. It's heartbreaking.
It is, yeah.
It's heartbreaking and makes me it's both. I get sad and very angry about it.
Same here. So now tell us more about yourself with the Falsely Accused Network, the kind of services you offer to people.
So what we do is, I was falsely accused of domestic abuse myself.
Sorry to hear that.
So, and I'm a paternity fraud victim. So what that is my ex-wife convinced me I was a father of a child, but it turned out 2 years later I wasn't. I did a DNA test and I wasn't the child's father.
I'm so sorry to hear that.
And this is what started all this off. So the first organisation I set up is still up and running. It's called Paternity Fraud UK, which we support anybody who's been affected by paternity fraud. So that can be men like me, it can be relatives of the, connected with the child as well. So it can be wrong grandmothers. So we have men and women that we do support in that.
This is the worst kind of fraud you can ever do.
So when we talk about the spousal visas,
Yeah.
you see why I get so upset
Yeah, absolutely,
about it?
yeah.
Because of the fraud element.
Yeah.
It just gets.
I mean, this makes my blood boil because it's the worst kind of fraud you can pull on someone, to sell to someone, say to someone, this is your child. And it turns out it's not. You're devastated. The emotional damage that this must have caused on you, good Lord, to your family, good Lord. There should be rules against this. There should be something done about this.
With paternity fraud, there is no specific crime of paternity fraud in the United Kingdom at the moment.
Right.
But you can be prosecuted for fraud by misrepresentation. But again, the evidence has to be very strong, and it's very difficult because a lot of the women, what they do is they just say, I've made a mistake. I just genuinely believed he was the father. Oh, aren't I silly? They know all along.
Exactly, yeah.
They know all along. But in a courtroom, it's evidence that counts. So that's something on the paternity fraud side. What we're looking for on that is mandatory DNA testing at birth. So this would just kill this completely.
Fully agree. Fully there with you.
Completely just stops it. And then a specific crime of paternity fraud, which would take it away at the moment because they're having to use different legislation. If you can imagine, if you can see where I'm going with that.
Yeah.
So what we're saying is we want a specific crime of paternity fraud which sees it as a form of abuse rather than a financial crime. Because at the moment, it's really fraud by misrepresentation is a financial crime, and that's what you have to try and prove, which is very strange. So I started Paternity Fraud UK first. That's still up and running. We're the only organisation that helps anyone affected by it.
Massive respect to them, Mike.
And that I run a helpline. There's no other organisation that does it because when I needed help, I couldn't find any. I thought, well, I better do something about it then. I'm one of those type of men that
respect to you.
If something needs doing, I'll get on with it. And then as I got into that, the story, after I found out I was a victim of paternity fraud, I wanted to adopt the child. I made a very good educated guess that the biological father would have been a married man, and it turns out he was. So I wanted to keep the child, but she wouldn't let me. She wouldn't let me anywhere near him. So I went to family court. I couldn't afford a solicitor or a barrister, and I went with a Mackenzie friend. She did a fantastic job in helping me. I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't know what day of the week it was half the time at that point, but she was really good and I'll always be thankful for her help in that case. And that's when I was met with a barrage of false domestic abuse allegations.
Right, oh dear.
So I got hit with paternity fraud, and then I was having to defend myself against false allegations. But the lady that helped me in family court, she did a fantastic job with the statements and helped me collecting evidence and presenting it. They got thrown out. But I don't see the child because the mother introduced him to the biological father. And I agreed that it wouldn't be in the child's best interest if I was around because it wouldn't make sense.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be a healthy situation for any of us. So I was heartbroken in the family court, but I agreed. I said, yes, I have to put the child first here. What's sad about that story is because he was a married man, he was seeing the child in secret. And once his wife found out, he walked away from the child and his wife forgave him. So the child has got no father now.
Right.
And that keeps me awake at night, I'll be frank.
Yeah.
It keeps me awake at night.
You must have been through hell with this, and it's not just the financial aspect as well, it's the mental.
Yeah. It at the time, did I think about self-deletion? Yes, I did, but I'm glad I didn't act on it.
Yeah.
And I'm glad I didn't because what I was determined is something good to come from this.
Absolutely. No, with big respect to you, a lot of people I think are getting in touch with me saying they're on the verge of self-deletion. But with a lot of these things, and you're full credit to you here, Mike.
Thank you.
It's what you've been through. I mean, I can only imagine over here. And there's many more men quietly going through this. Mm-hmm. And thank you for doing something about this, to helping people out. We need mandatory maternity tests at birth in order to avoid this.
Definitely, we need definitely the paternity testing at birth. And then I'll just move into how Falsely Accused Network started. So after all that, I was getting men coming asking me about false allegations of domestic abuse, and I thought, do you know what, I'm going to have to do something about this, similar to what I did with paternity fraud. So I set up Falsely Accused Network. So then there's a helpline, and I had to make connections with people then. So the network is, I had to make connections with solicitors on criminal and family, barristers in the family side. But also I'm very, very aware, Ranjha, that unfortunately, when these things happen, solicitors and barristers on the family law side are
very expensive.
It's not a criticism of them. I value what solicitors and barristers do. I really do. I'm not anti the legal profession, not at all. But I'm very aware, unfortunately, there's a cost, and it can be quite expensive, and I couldn't afford them too. So when we've then got Mackenzie Friends that can help. So I'd say the vast majority of people, if they're working, probably can afford a Mackenzie Friend. And we always say, don't go into family court on your own. It's not as easy as it looks. You might see it in these social groups that it's dead easy. It's really not. It's difficult. It's emotional.
Yeah.
And you're up against a barrister because she'll have a barrister. So we've now got the helpline. We've got the legal connections. We've now got a dedicated counsellor she's brilliant, who's very, very good with helping men through this. And we have a private support group. So anybody in England or Wales can ring us and get put in the right direction, get the right support.
Okay, so just to clarify, if anybody here has had a fake allegation made against them, domestic violence, controlling and coercive, they can get through to
Absolutely.
to the Falsely Accused Network,
Yep.
and you can help them with
Yep.
counselling, legal advice. What else?
So yeah, so they can come through and get the mental health support off a private counsellor that we know. We can get. I then, knowing what I know now, I can get them connected with the right legal assistance. So if it's a criminal case, I know some fantastic criminal defence solicitors that they can get help with. I know a legal aid one, but I also know private ones as well. So one way or the other, your criminal case can be then get you connected with the right solicitors. If it's a family case, because they do cross over, there's two parts of law that kick in now. And then again, I know fantastic solicitors, fantastic family law barristers, and for guys like most of us out there can't afford that, then we've got Mackenzie Friend option. So you're not going to be on your own. You're not going to go on your own through this. So straight away, that's a big tick off your list.
Yeah.
Then we do have a private support group, and if you do come through to me as well, everybody, I always say when we finish the call, you save at the end of every call I say this, you save my number. If you come into our peer support group, that's fine, but you save my number, I am available on WhatsApp. You get in contact with me. And the amount of men, I'm going to get a bit upset now, but the amount of men that I've had to talk out of killing themselves.
I know, yeah, same here.
Sorry, I'm being a bit emotional. It's just phenomenal.
Same here. I've had people send me messages, right?
I can't get over it.
Honestly, and it's left me traumatized. And my content is not about this. It's about properties, being an entrepreneur. But I've had such a massive response about this, and people are in a desperate, dire situation, and they've been through hell, and they're on the verge of self-deletion. They're there. They need someone to talk to.
Yeah.
I'm not qualified for this, but I can see the pain in your eyes over here. But I admire you for doing what you're doing over here and helping people out.
I had to do something about it, Ranjha, because I thought, if not me, who will?
Yeah.
Who will? So I would say to any guys that are going through this is that pain, acknowledge it, but don't act on it.
Yeah.
You can come back from this. And a lot of the time, when I go through the calls, when I go through what's going on with them, they need the right legal support. They need somebody to talk to, a counsellor. They need to speak to me. But do not self-delete. You're better than that. No. And I get it. I get the pain. I believe you me. I've been there. But no, I'm so glad I didn't. And you too can come back from this.
Yeah, no, thank you for those. Thank you for those words. I had speaking to a friend of mine who he was gonna jump, and because he was going through this, And when I was speaking with him, he had a family friend who was a solicitor who was pretending to be a mediator, but he was actually representing her. So we've got a lot of corrupt solicitors like this who are abusing the system here and telling him really how to lie. And a lot of them are of Asian descent. I'm going to be frank with you.
Okay.
So that's part of the problem over here. But yeah.
Where's this come from, Ranjha? Because I'm gonna say something. I said this in other podcasts I've appeared on. I would say British Muslim men are the most discriminated against
Absolutely.
in the country by a long way. Okay, as a white man, I've got feminism against that. They're against me. But for Muslim men, you've got feminism against you, like I have. But what you've got is the far right coming on the other flank. Yeah. So why is this happening where British Muslim men are going against each other? You need each other. You've got to support each other.
Yeah.
You've got to support each other.
It's money, greed.
Why?
It's always a weakness.
It's so sad.
It's kryptonite to us. It's greed. Money. Right? The Asian community will do more than most. It's very money. We do very well, but we're very money motivated. And it's all about the money. People only respect you in the Asian community if you've got money. I used to be a very poor man, and I've talked about this on my podcast, and my own relatives used to deny being related to me. Then as soon as I'd established myself in life, then they all used to say, oh yeah, he's our cousin, That's just the way they are. And that's why the Asian community always does so well, because it's money. But along comes with that a lot of poison as well. Mm-hmm. And we have the ability to, Asians will always turn on each other very, very quickly. You've got to understand, this is why we understand fully why the British were able to come over there and take us all over so easily. It's in our nature.
So sad, isn't it?
Yeah, it's our weakness. It's in our nature. We turn on each other. We have this weakness in ourselves. We used to be better than this, right? But now, I'll be honest with you, the British society, most Asians deep down know that the average white man, he's got certain core values which are within his community are better than us. I'll be honest with you. We all know that deep down. That's why I'm not saying you don't see this within the white community, but the way, for example, when people are getting married, it's even in particular abroad, they've got visions of, we're going to get married, we're going to find that woman. They've had a rough time over here. Sometimes, they don't always have the charm. They don't always have the best looks. And they've got this thing about being divorced multiple times, right? In the Asian, yeah, and we don't see the same thing in the white community, right? But here it's a worry of if I get divorced twice now or 3 times now, what people are going to say? They're all going to say it's my fault. So what they think, do you know what I'll do? I'll get married this time to someone in Pakistan, or someone slightly more traditional, and then they go through this whole mental torture and this whole ordeal. I mean, I'm sure there are some real cases where it's worked out well, but we need to change the law about this.
Yes.
This is what I've been saying.
We've got to, people like myself, you and other people in this area that are interested in supporting people going through this, we can see the problem. We now need a solution. And I think part of the solution would be that there's none of this automatic indefinite leave to remain on a domestic abuse allegation. You're genuinely being abused, go to the authorities, and then we can get you help to go back. Because surely that's what you'd want if you're being abused.
Absolutely.
And you're thousands of miles away from home. So this nonsense about domestic abuse allegations and you get an indefinite leave to remain, that, I think, would solve this problem, not all of it, but mainly overnight.
I think you're absolutely right.
We have a government in the Labour government, which I have no love for, who are feminists to the core, who really, and I'll easily say this, the Labour government hates men.
Yes.
And it's all of us. Doesn't matter what colour your skin are, what background or what religion, they hate men in general. So they're not choosy. It's men in general. They're all about the women. And we're not going to see anything that we want with the Labour government in power. I don't see much hope in the Conservative Party either.
Yeah.
Actually, I do quite like Kemi Badenoch, I must admit. I think
Right.
she's got something about her that's, and let's see.
Yeah.
Let's see. But I'm not sure reform would be the answer. But I get it. If people think if they're going to propose something like that, I could see a lot of people would vote for that.
Right. If reform, I've reached out to Nigel Farage. If reform were to turn around and say, what we're going to do is we're going to give, number one, compulsory paternity test at birth.
Mm-hmm.
And number two, we're going to go back over the last 20 years and look at all the claims of fake, where everyone's even raising it as an issue, saying this was a fake domestic violence claim, just simply to get indefinite leave to remain or to get citizenship, and they remove everyone from the country. The entire Asian community would vote for reform. The entire Asian community.
Wouldn't surprise me. And maybe that's what's needed.
Maybe,
Policy
yeah.
like that, whether it's Reform does it or the Conservative Party does it. Labour won't. Just forget.
Right.
Labour won't.
Okay, so this is what's going on here. Labour they're snakes, really. I'm going to be honest with you, right?
Yeah.
Shabana Mahmood is in trouble, right? The current Home Secretary. Now, they all know Keir Starmer, right? He's gone. He's finished already. So they're all manoeuvring to take his become the Prime Minister, really. Shabana Mahmood had an independent guy who I interviewed last week, Ahmed Mahmood, and he came very close to beating her. Now, because of her support for the country I can't talk about, and the
I know what you're going about,
yeah. So because of that, she's going to lose her seat unless she turns around now and says, a lot of us know within the Asian community, a lot of these, and this is no hate on anyone here, but we all know that a lot of these asylum seekers are just taking the piss. A lot of them are fake.
It's blatantly obvious to me that they're economic migrants.
Yes, fully agree. And people don't want to say anything because they don't want to be seen as being siding with the racists. So they're all, they're all very, very quiet about this. But a lot of us, there's a lot of deep-set anger where I'm seeing people come over from Afghanistan to over here after we've, turned that country into a hellhole. And then the people who come over here hate people like me. Not all of them, right? But they'll have a thing against Pakistan, right? And they'll have a thing against Iran as well, because these are the countries who gave them refuge. But they weren't treated well. And a lot of our issue is, well, why are we now bringing them over here, giving them refuge? What do you think is going to happen? And on top of that, why is my taxpayers, my hard-earned money being spent on them now, when they're clearly coming over here because they know it's a good life? And members of, I'm not sure if I'm allowed to say this, the T organisation, the Taliban, I'll just say it, the Taliban, you pay them 50 quid, they'll write you a letter saying you're wanted if you return over here, and it's just as part of your fake asylum claim over here. That's number one. Number two, we know there's an epidemic. Everybody knows someone who's suffering from this false domestic violence claims.
Oh yeah.
Everyone knows this.
Yeah. Oh, we're at that point now. It's so widespread.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what everyone wants here is nobody wants this. It's got to be, immigration's got to work for us.
Yes.
It's madness otherwise. It's got to be working, and it's got to be on our terms over here. Yeah. And Mike, the biggest problem is this: there's a lot of people who are, in particular white people, who cannot talk about immigration in a grown-up, adult way without their eyes getting a bit swivel-eyed and saying something stupid. I want my country, that's the problem here. That's the problem here. And there's a lot of Asians who, we're on the verge of voting for reform. If Nigel Farage would turn around to us, and he would say to us, right, a lot of these fake asylum seekers, I'll get rid of them all, and on top of that, a lot of these indefinite leave to remain scams, visa scams, I'll get rid of everyone going over the last 20 years, even if you simply because they were able to get away with it simply by making the accusation. If Nigel Farage would say, look, even you make the accusation, we're going to look into it and remove him, he'll become the next Prime Minister. I'm guaranteeing that right now, because there's so many Asians feel so strongly about this, and they're suffering quietly. The one thing the Asian community is very, very good at is suffering in silence, and that's what's going on right now. So Conservatives, I can never vote for Conservatives. I don't trust Kemi Badenoch. My father was a victim. We lost everything when I was a child because of the Conservative government. We had Black Wednesday when interest rates were at a certain point, and I could just see my dad. We used to have a factory. We used to make things in this country.
Yeah, we did,
You know, that's gone out through the window. They sold us out. We were sold out by the Conservative government with good trade deals to other countries. That, you know, in hindsight, it wasn't to our advantage over here. But so Shabana Mahmood knows she's in trouble, right? She's got Ahmed Mahmood breathing down her neck. So she knows the only way she can win is to promise to remove people with a lot of these no more indefinite leave to remain if you're coming here on asylum. And on top of this, with this fake managed visa scam, I'm trying to reach out to her and say, you're going to lose your seat unless you do something about it.
She needs to.
Yeah.
And I think that the quickest, easiest, painless way to do it would be to write it into law. Yeah, if you've been domestically abused and you've come to Britain in a spousal visa scam, then you will be sent back to where you come from for your safety.
Yes.
For your safety, because you're in so much danger. So we'll get, and it'll be free. You go, there you go. And that's it. That'll stop it dead. What that will do is, with the genuine cases, we'll still report them, won't we?
Yep.
They get safe passage back to safety, and the fake ones, because the incentive's gone, they'll be like, well, what's the point of me doing that? Because if I make that claim, I'm gonna go. That's the way to stop it.
Yeah.
It can be done easily, but the feminists control the Labour Party.
Yes.
So you're not going to get, if any man, it doesn't matter what colour your skin are, religion, the Labour Party is not your friend if you're male.
I fully agree.
Absolutely not.
Yeah.
Forget it. Just don't. I wouldn't. No.
The Labour Party is not your friend if you're a male. The Labour Party is not your friend if you've got some money.
Yeah.
Right? The Labour Party is not your friend, even if you support Palestine. Right? They're not your friend. Right? The Labour Party they're only their own friends. Mm-hmm. And the way this country is going at the moment, it's being run into the ground. There's a lot of frustration out there. I think you'll know yourself just the way it's going, where austerity isn't working for us.
Nope.
There's a lot of frustrations at the moment, and on top of that, we're seeing these kind of scams just to get indefinite leave to remain over here. But can you share with us some more stories of experiences that, and can you just sort of give us some knowledge for people to avoid this happening to them?
What I would say to any man who's thinking about marrying a lady from, so in this scenario, a British man of Asian heritage thinking of marrying somebody from Pakistan, India, Bangladesh, Morocco, don't just think once, think twice, think 3 times, think 4 times, think 5 times. I would say if you are connected with a mosque or temple, speak to your imams, speak to your relevant people that there, but speak to a friend who is not afraid to tell you the truth.
Yeah.
Every man should have a friend like that who is just not afraid to tell you the truth. I know I've got some very close friends who will always tell me what they think. Think very carefully, because I cannot guarantee that you're not going to end up ringing the falsely accused network up if you go and do that.
My advice to anybody here who's thinking of getting married abroad, just
don't do it.
Yeah, don't do it.
That's where I was going with that.
Yeah,
don't do it.
Just don't do it. Just stop dead. Stop there. Stop right there. Right? Now, here's the thing. Things don't always go according to plan sometimes in life. Mm-hmm. Right? You get married, you don't have any kids, or you end in divorce, and there's a lot of people who I've seen, and they've tried to get married abroad. Sometimes I would see people marrying people who were in, for example, Ukraine. Mm-hmm. Different cultures have different ways of doing this, and everyone's got that desire to have kids, have a family. Mm-hmm. It's a perfectly normal, desire to have. And unfortunately, our government doesn't support this. No. We've got dropping, here's a problem here, right? So my advice is simply don't do it, right? Mm-hmm. But if you are going to do it, the government needs to make legislation in place where they can't claim citizenship for a good 15, 20 years.
Yeah. I'd say that's a great idea, and also an automatic. If once a claim's gone in, then it's safe passage home. You can't.
Yes.
That's it. You've been genuinely abused. You want that. You welcome that, wouldn't you?
Yeah, absolutely.
It's free passage home. That's it. I've been abused. Right. Okay. And then that's it. So
spot on. That's a very good.
The easiest way to do it.
Yeah.
And then that filters out the genuine cases from the false cases. That protects us all. That protects the people that are genuinely been abused, and it protects the innocent as well. But at the moment, it's just an open season, Ranjha.
Well, this is it. I mean, at the moment, we've got a bit of a demographic crisis coming up here, right? Not enough people are having enough kids.
That's right.
Okay, more people need to have more kids.
Mm-hmm.
Yet it's become so expensive, so full of problems now.
And risk.
Yeah, risk.
Risk.
Yeah.
I'm petrified.
Exactly. I'm petrified of getting married. You know, people are petrified of getting married to get your asset strips off them. You know, and I mean, I think we kind of think, we as Asians assume it's easier for white people, right? Because for us, it's kind of meant to be like an arranged marriage, and then it turns to there's families involved, and when it goes wrong, it goes badly wrong.
Yeah.
And that's why there's so much poison involved sometimes. Yeah. With Asian families, I know they look good on the outside, but sometimes they're so toxic. It's unbelievable. And when they turn on each other, that's when these fake claims will come in as well.
Mm-hmm. There's something you said earlier in the podcast, which it crops into my mind. The word pride.
Yeah.
And you were saying about how Asian men, you didn't use the word pride, but that was what's underneath it when they might want to not say anything, or they worry about what people think about them. And pride. And maybe that's something that we need to look at.
Absolutely.
Put it to one side. It's about, you don't need to be that proudful. It doesn't matter what people think about you.
Absolutely.
It doesn't matter what people think about you.
So what I see happening now is where people would normally never put their hands up and say, I've suffered from this. Mm-hmm. But I'm now seeing more and more people saying it in my comments because they've suffered so badly, mm-hmm. where this sense of shame in the community is just thrown away now.
Good. We've got to get rid of shame.
Yeah.
We've got to get people talking about this, because if it's in the quiet, the spousal visa scams, paternity fraud, false allegations, all connected. We've got to strip away that shame, because if we keep quiet about it, it will carry on.
Absolutely.
On.
Now, in terms of paternity fraud, I've been told by certain friends of mine who are doctors that the number is far bigger than you think. Soul destroying. And that almost every doctor now, especially the ones who work in paternity wards, have paternity tests on their own partners, because they know the number is a lot higher. I think it's something like 1 in 5 or 1 in 4. It's not the real parent.
It's getting accurate figures for this is difficult for paternity fraud rate in the United Kingdom. So, depending where you're looking at with this, is the DNA test companies, I've got to put a caveat in here, where they've done, they've been paid to do a test because someone's had a doubt, a genuine doubt. It's quite high, it's about 40%, so don't panic at first, that sounds a lot. You've got to bear in mind with those test results is because somebody has had a doubt. Of course it's going to be higher. But the actual overall figure for the United Kingdom is still under dispute, because it's very, very difficult. Some have put it as low as 1%. Some have put it as high as, like what you said, around in the 10% area. And others are sort of going in the middle. So we genuinely don't know. The accepted figure we're seeing at the moment is around 4%.
Right.
But if that is wrong, it will be too low. Does that make sense? If that figure's wrong, it will probably be higher. So when you said about your people that you know who are doctors, I suspect it's a lot higher, the reality.
They're saying to me it's around 20%, 25%.
It wouldn't surprise me if that 4% would be far too low for me, but that's the accepted figure at the moment.
And what they're saying is they were even giving a breakdown of demographics as well.
Okay.
Yeah, in certain communities it's far more prevalent than others, right? And I'm not going to
speak to these people. That's all right.
Yeah, absolutely right. And then what they're saying is in certain communities where it wasn't that prevalent, it's now becoming more prevalent. Mm-hmm. And that community is the Asian community. So they're saying it's becoming worse and worse.
That's heartbreaking.
It's heartbreaking. It's soul destroying. They only find out when, for example, father has a form of cancer that's makes it hereditary. Well, because they're their son, it's far more likely to have it. Then they have a blood test done and they realise, hang on a second, this is not mine. So there's a lot of this going on. So I think any fathers out there, first things first, you need to have paternity test always on your kids.
Every time. I don't care how long you've known the woman. I don't care how much you think you trust them or not. If you're if you're I'll do a caveat here, this is not legal advice, but if you're in England and Wales and you're on the birth certificate, you can do a DNA test without her knowing. The woman knowing, that's what I did. So the child was very young as well, so he was not even 2 years old when I did that DNA test. But I did always check with the solicitors before you go and do a DNA test.
So if you hadn't have done that, you'd have, you probably would have eventually have found out. Yeah. But it would have been far worse for you then, wouldn't it?
If I wouldn't have done it when I did, it could have been years and years and years and years later. But I did have a doubt. I mean, the doubt was that the child didn't look like me. I could see a resemblance to the mother, but I could see no resemblance to me. So I kidded myself, Ranjha, into thinking, oh, well, it just looks more like his mum.
Yeah.
Now, looks alone, as I've got into this, isn't actually the most accurate way of telling you're not the father, because genuinely some kids can look more like the mum or more like the dad. And then the tests have been done, and there's been no paternity fraud at all. But it's the start. It's the start of it. And then there was just other doubts. She was saying weird things, and I just, once it was in my head, I could have gone one of two ways. I could have gone into denial and said, no, just get on with it, it's fine. She wouldn't lie about that. And then I've realised, well, no, I'm going to have to do a DNA test because it's clearly bothering me. So I did it in secret. I checked with the lawyer. They said, oh yeah, if you're on the birth certificate, you have parental responsibility, so you can then do a DNA test without telling her. And that's what I did do. And I would say to any man, don't tell your partner that you're going to do a DNA test. If you're providing legally you can do this without her knowing, don't tell her, just do it. Because if she finds out, there's all sorts of different things that could happen. Because again, she might be telling the truth, it could ruin your relationship. And if you do find out you're the father, then fine, just file the test away.
That's it, yeah.
Your pop, she never needs to know. No one needs to know. But if you're not the father, then a discussion has to happen.
I think what it is, you must have had men's intuition to a certain degree.
Oh yeah, it was just really bothering me, Ranjha. It was just like looking at him, and I didn't stop loving the child once I found out. I wanted to adopt him. I wanted to adopt the child. But I had to know the truth, and so did the child.
Absolutely.
This is what they all forget, these women that do this fraud. The little child's a victim too.
Yeah.
He's actually the primary victim, really.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. But a lot of the times, all they want is, I think a source of money coming into, you have 18 years. Yeah. And so my advice to any members of the Asian community, anybody watching this, in particular the Asians, they'll be there thinking, but my wife is pious, she prays 5 times a day and so on. So still get it checked.
Yes, please.
Yeah. No guarantee. Oh, but my wife, she, as well as praying 5 times, she wears a hijab or whatever. Still get it checked. Still get it checked.
Yes, please.
Right? Other people will be saying, but my wife's not like that. She might have been, whatever when she was younger, but now she's, whatever. Get it checked. Get it checked. Right? And the other point is, anybody thinking of getting married in Pakistan, in India, or any of that part of the world, number one, don't. If you've already got married out there, right, or you're in trouble, this is happening, get in touch with the Falsely Accused Network.
Please, yeah. We can get you in the right direction, and it'll be a big tick off your list, and we're going to get you the right help in that right direction. Absolutely.
So you can help people who have already been accused, or as soon as they get hit with the accusations, or they've married someone from back over there. You can help at every step of the way. Is that correct?
Absolutely, yeah. So it can be even We've even had this doesn't happen often, but we do get men where they suspect it's going to happen. So then we get given practical steps on legally what you can do. You can get a chat with a solicitor who can then start to help them get everything prepared to extract themselves from the situation. But ultimately, the vast majority it's happened, so they could be on bail, or she stopped them seeing the children and it's an allegation, not to the police, maybe via social services. So if it's happening, or you really strongly suspect it's going to happen, we can still help. Excellent.
Right. So what's the best way of getting in touch with yourselves?
So our website is www.falselyaccusednetwork.co.uk. Our email is support@falselyaccusednetwork.co.uk, or our phone number is 0204 538 8788. Get in contact with us. You'll get a chat with myself, and then we start to go through what's happened. I'll get you in the right direction, get you linked up with the right legal people. I just need to put a caveat. We can only help people in England or Wales.
Okay, gotcha. Any final words you want to finish on?
I just want a few things. I just want to say to any man suffering out there that I know how difficult it is in the situation when you've been falsely accused. But hang on in there.
Thank you. Yeah.
Keep close to God. Hang on in there.
Good man.
Get the right help, whether it's us or another organisation. Get the right help. Hang on in there, and you will get through this.
Excellent. Thank you so much. Thank you for coming on.
Thank you.
I'm going to have you on again at some point soon if we can do. Yeah.
Of course.
But yeah, so people get in touch here. I'm going to be tagging you've got a TikTok account as well.
Yes.
I'll be tagging you in on all the videos over here. So people, if you need anything, get in touch. We've got an epidemic going on here of fake claims from people from that part of the world or from other places, and we're going to do something about this. Okay, so when we're tagging you in, we're making more content. If there's anything else you want us to cover or make this kind of content about, let me know, and we're going to do this. You're not alone, and Mike, big respect to you.
Thank you.
Honestly, God bless you for everything you're doing, and I hope and pray that God looks after you for the good work you're doing over here for other men. God bless you. People like you put the great in Great Britain, so thank you, Mike. Yeah.
Thank you.
Cheers, Mike. Ranjha, how about?